Yeah, as Jen said, I'm Hector, working at Accenture. When I'm gonna start apologizing first to the translation. I have a strong accent, so it's gonna be hard for them to understand sometimes. And the typewriters, again, I'm really sorry. I will try to modulate better so that you guys can understand me better. When I started speaking in conferences, one of the first thought of mine was, I don't never want to speak after Bryce. And how we are here, right? I mean, he's amazing. Happy to see familiar faces here, like Jennison, like you know names here. Brian, sorry that I forgot your name earlier. Yeah, Monica is here. Like, we have so many names here. So whoever is attending for the first time here in this conference, you are in the perfect room right now. Like, you have big names here. They're super friendly, so reach out. So to your question, how to approach them, you have a large audience here that you can start interacting with. Twitter, LinkedIn, talk to them in person. So going back to why we're here today, dissecting websites through the lens of accessibility. It's not gonna be as fun as Bryce, but it's gonna be more technical. So I hope that you guys follow. The slides are up in the website. I put a QR code there that I hope it works. And if you want to write down the URL, it's bit.ly A11Y hyphen, I think it is, dissect hyphen website. So follow that. The slides are there. I hit some slides for today because we had limited time, but if you want to find all of the slides, they're up there. So when I work in accessibility, I work on web e-commerce, right? So I try to see problems from big to small, right? So when I dissect a website, when it comes to me, even from the design, I try to follow like a 3-step process. So step number 1, unwrap the structure of whatever is presented to me, then define the interaction flow. We'll talk about that later, and then we will inspect a specific element. So, web, right? I focus on e-commerce, but that doesn't mean what I work is only e-commerce. We have a lot of websites out there in the world. A lot of pages, designs cross between multiple industries. Home pages, blogs, profile pages, product search, product page. These pages have like certain patterns that makes design, but a lot of them are common. A lot of them are used across the industry. So how do we make sure, from a designer perspective, developer perspective, or tester perspective, that we do the best work that we can so that we don't create barriers for anyone that is trying to use these websites? So interestingly enough, HTML5 provides markers for our websites. Whoever is a web developer here might know them: header, main, and footer. If I show you that image, you might kind of like recognize where the header, the main, and the footer is. You got it? Sorry. Okay, so, good, all right. So if I show you, there in reality is more than that, right? So when we create a website, we're not only thinking about the header, the main, and the footer. There are other elements that are important to define in the page. All right, so in the screen, we have a browser, kind of simulated browser there. I'm showing the header. Inside the header, there are 2 sections. One is the navigation. The other one is the search. Below that, on the left, there is a sidebar. It's also a navigation. Then you have your main content, and then the footer. So why is this important? And I was thinking about it when I came here. So I have 2 kids at home, under 4. Before that, my house used to be really organized. It was, I swear. No longer is organized, right? Like everything is all over the place. Toys, books, clothing, my clothing, their clothing, my books, their books. So when we do web, even on design or building or construction, we need to be organized. This helps a lot of people find information. So visually, if we design it properly as a structure of blocks, we know where the information is. For someone that is using a screen reader, This is technical, but there's something called landmarks, and screen readers can navigate directly to those areas, right? So they don't need to know exactly where they are, but they could say, okay, I want to go to the main content. I want to go to the footer. I find a link that I usually know is there. So when we create this web, and if we label them properly, it helps a lot of users. So as a takeaway, layout definition improve navigation and comprehension of your website. It might potentially improve SEO, because remember, Google, any others like algorithm search engines are just bots, they're robots. So think about them like screen readers traversing to your website. They're trying to find information. If information is properly stored, not like my house at the moment, you can find stuff. The next one is important, headings, right? When we design a website, we should provide a clear structure of the document. So imagine you're reading a book, right? A book has organization, chapters. Within the chapters, we have, I will call them sub-chapters, and typically they have headings, and each those headings has a precedence between them. On the right-hand side of the screen, I put like a web page simulation. So it reads the following titles: product name, ship to home, free pickup. You have also seen, and ratings and reviews, right? So for designers and developers, all of them that are on the screen right now, they have the same precedence. So typically we would change them using font sizes, right? Like we make some of them larger, some of them smaller. Now, if I were to use them as a navigation in the page, I will have to tag them properly, right? Like these headings have priority. They break the page into sections that I wanna allow screen reader users to find, right? So still on the screen, it's the same headings. I have not changed anything at all, so I don't know what is more priority in here. There's no precedence. Now, compare that to this image, right? So this is a really overloaded image. So I'm gonna try to describe it. Let's start with the photo. So the product name is an H1, the most important heading in the page, right? It gives you the context of where you landed. So heading 1 is your title, the main information that you're trying to find. In this page is what we call the PDP page, product detail page, PDP, yeah. Yeah, product detail page. So that page, typically we use the product name for it. In the home page, if I were to ask you what is an H1 in a home page, I will ask you to go home and check and try to find what is the H1 in all of the home pages that you frequently go to. You will be surprised that not a lot of websites have an H1. A lot. So if we were to break this site in areas and blocks, I broke it down into product name, it's an H1, then delivery options will be an H2. That is hidden, it's not shown here. So what I'm saying there is, if you look at the bottom left, there's product name, H2. Inside the H2, there's a delivery options and ship to home. So that is just a block, a structure of precedence. So what I'm doing there is grouping those delivery options and ship to home under delivery options. I repeated, sorry. It was supposed to be on the left-hand side. It was supposed to be delivery options and free pickup. My bad. But anyways, I'm grouping that information to let users know that they're together. They should be consumed together. And then you have also seen, and ratings and reviews have the same importance in the page as delivery options. So a lot of wording, yada, yada, yada. For designers, when you design, if you use a design system, you're most likely gonna work in a component, in a block of something. In this case, let's pretend we're working on ratings and reviews. That is your main focus. You're just thinking about ratings and reviews. You need to consider where that block of content is gonna be dropped. Where is that block of content gonna be used? because it's a block of area, a block of information that needs to be seen in the entire page where it's going to be used. And that's where the headings are really important. So consider not only the block that you're designing, consider where it is going to be used. One of the most important one is product recommendation. So it shows case here as like you have also seen, it will be used in an e-commerce site, it will be used in the shopping cart, homepage, sometimes in checkout, product listing page, search result page. So in your entire website, you will be using the same component, the same block of information, but you only design it once. So it has to be really important when you design it, consider where it's going to be used and consider the precedence that it's going to have when it is dropped in that page. All right. So headings make it easier to scan through the content, and it sure does improve SEO. Again, Google will scan this website and it will scan the headings to try to define the content that you want to show in the search results. So step number 2, define the interaction flow. So again, I'm showing the same page as before. We have the product listing page. We have only 4 titles, and I have added on the top 4 white blocks that I hope that it's showing in the page. So we typically think, when you're able, you typically think of interaction with your website just as a mouse and keyboard. That's it. That's all you need to interact with your website. So talking about bias that Bryce was mentioning earlier, there are a lot of other devices that people use to navigate the website. People, including us, anyone here, can use either their phone devices. So I have big hands, big thumbs. Sometimes I have really hard trouble to click in a specific area if the target is not properly defined. So on screen, interaction devices that most of us will know or will get to know in this industry is screen readers, switches, buttons, pencil, a finger, mouse sticks, head pointer, voice recognition software, virtual reality. Maybe you navigate the web with your TV control remote. So when we design it, we're not only thinking about a little mouse that is clicking there. It's not just a pointer device. You need to think about how will your website work with all of this. Anyone that uses Netflix, right? Netflix is a web app, but you most likely don't consume it only on web. You use it on your phone. You might go to your Apple TV. You might go home and use it in your, I don't know, PS5 or Xbox. There's a lot of devices that interact with the applications that we develop and create. So because there are too many of them, I am going to be talking only about the keyword. I don't think I have, there. Sorry about that. I cannot see what's happening there on the screen. Cool. We're back. Okay. So I'm going to be focusing only on keyword interaction for the web. Right? So when you when you open a web page, put your mouse away, try to operate your website. Typically, you will use tab to move from left to right and top to bottom, and you will use shift tab to go back. When you navigate through it, most likely what will happen is you will land in the logo, move through the navigation, go to the search, and then you find your way to an element here, which is the you have also seen. So this is a product recommendation list, which is typically a carousel. Whoever works in the web, try to always pitch to your peers, designers, clients to not use carousels, but it most likely will happen that we will need to use them. So what happens when I land there as a keyword user? Do I need to provide a different way to navigate that area? Right? Like, do I need to use left arrow and right arrow? How do I communicate this information to someone that is using a keyword if I don't put it there on the screen? If I don't let them know, hey, when you land here, you need to use left arrow and right arrow to start navigating. Most likely, they will start tapping until they find a way to navigate through it. And that is a medium blocker, small blocker, or big blocker for some users, right? So for any element that you're doing out there, account for multiple ways of operation. It's not only a mouse, it's not only a keyboard, it's not only a finger. Try to talk to users of your website and see what areas are being actually used, which one is not used, and maybe talk to them. Is this easy? Were you able to achieve what you tried to do today? In e-commerce, were you able to add to the cart, check out, and receive the product that you bought? So we went from the big area, right? Like landmarks, we designed some interaction flow. Now I'm just gonna pick one of the components that we typically use in e-commerce, which is called product cards. And I'm gonna try to explain this guy. So navigate anywhere, either clothing or food or whatever, you will find yourself with a product card. It's a fairly common pattern in web and e-commerce. The one that we have on the screen starts top to bottom. We have a clearance label. Behind it, there is an image. Underneath it, there's like color selectors. And then there's the name of the product that says Everywhere Backpack, buy it, brand name. And then you have 4 out of 5 stars, 200 reviews. And then there are 2 prices. One in red, it says $119.97. And then the next price has a strike through and it says $199.99. And then you have the add to cart. So this is fairly common. Most of the websites will use this kind of design. What happened if I were colorblind? Or what happened if my monitor is not working? What happened if I'm presenting in this conference as we're speaking right now, where I'm using a projector to a screen that doesn't have the proper color contrast ratio? You won't be able to determine what the colors are, right? So we use labels for them. Now the labels that I've used, I'm sorry, I need to get closer to here, is pink, blue, gray, red, light blue, even lighter blue. So those are hidden labels, and I'm sure they're not helpful. If I'm trying to find shoes, let's say now I need to guess what is blue, what is light blue, and what is even lighter blue. How can you describe a pattern like a tiger pattern, leopard, tiger, zebra pattern? Those are clothing patterns that are out there that we use. And this is not a designer problem, quote unquote. It's not a developer problem, quote unquote. How can you describe the information that you want to have someone to buy or purchase from your website if they cannot see it? And this is an entire company problem. It's not just one person, 2 person. It's not the accessibility is me problem, right? As a community, we need to help define that content proper, and we need to make sure that it's labeled, and we need to be sure that it's properly consumed. 4 out of 5 stars is another example here, right? Like color contrast is not enough. So if I'm not able to see that color contrast, I don't know how many reviews this product have. And lastly, the price. In the previous slide, the price was red, and there's a strike through here. And I don't know if you noticed, when I read it before, I couldn't even read the number that is there when we use a strike through, right? Because it's hard to read sometimes, depending on the font that you use. There are certain numbers that doesn't allow you to read it properly. What you're actually trying to convey is that there was an old price, and this is on sale, so there's a new price. So there are multiple ways to solve this, either using labels, using images, using different font sizes, but consider them when you do design and try to go with all of the options that might have. And okay, lastly, all of the elements that I showed you before were clickable. When you click, something will happen. I'm not gonna name names because a lot of us work in industries in e-commerce, but go to e-commerce website, shoes, clothing, apparel, etc. You will see that when you use your mouse, if you can use a mouse, there are certain interactions that happen when you hover with your mouse over the image. Some websites decide to flip the image. So you're seeing the front of the shirt. When you go through it, you will see the back of the shirt. What happens if you're like moving your mouse and now you're moving from left to right because you want to click in the last one? And then you're moving your mouse and then you start seeing all the flickering of all the photos on the page. Or imagine you going from the bottom to the menu because you're tired and you want to go now to a new category. You start seeing all of those elements in the page. They are and could be really distracting. So this is a personal bias, but I'm really proponent in do not use hover to activate elements. Wait for the user to give you an intended interaction. So the same that I just described happens with the colors. When you navigate with your mouse through the color, sometimes it changes the color that you were selected. Red, pink, blue, light blue, even lighter blue, right? You're going with your mouse hovering in all of them, it's changing images. What should happen after you have selected the color that you want, and you click in there, it should go to the detail page with the color that you have selected. So it's a lot of complexity happening in that little element there. So accessibility should be always considered from the beginning. It's not just tester problem, it's not a developer problem, it's like all of us when we design, when we think about what we are trying to do for a website, we should consider accessibility. Is it easy? No. Are all the companies, do they know what they need to do? No. And that's why we're here. And that's what I'm so excited to see all of you here, sitting here, because my belief is that you guys are going to start thinking about accessibility in all of the companies and future companies that you're going to be working on. So you're going to be defending everyone that has a disability, which eventually one time in your life will be yourself. It will happen to you, I can guarantee you, right? We all age, we all have accidents, we all will have a disability at a certain point of our life. So if you're self-conscious, then you know that you're designing and making your life easier in the future. So my name, Hector Osborne Rodriguez, front-end developer manager at Accenture. You can find me in LinkedIn with my name, super large, I'm sorry about that. Twitter, not that active, but I use Hec Osborne Rod because they don't allow to put all my characters in there because it's too big. And I have a website, a11y.tips. So my personal goal for this year was to share more technical knowledge, and that's what I'm here, and that's what I created that website. So thank you, everyone.